Hi guys, welcome back to another video all about Essence makeup. I was at Shoppers Drug Mart recently, came across a bunch of stuff, so some of it is new, some of it is new to me or new to Canada, but I've got an eyeshadow palette, a bronzer palette, a highlighting palette, new lip colors, new lip liners, so much exciting stuff to play with. So I'm going to be showing you that in a demo today. I did a favorites from Essence video not long ago talking about their new lash primer, waterproof mascara, contour palette, so I will have that linked up here and down below along with my drugstore makeup playlist and Essence makeup playlist. If you haven't already subscribed, I do lots of drugstore makeup videos. I love wandering the drugstore trying to find new and amazing goodies, so be sure to subscribe, and I think that's everything. So I'm gonna go ahead, put on some foundation, maybe a little bit of brow pencil, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have just foundation and primer on now. I am actually going to use the Essence concealer that I mentioned in my last video so you could see it in action. If you're curious, I am now for the first time testing out the Rimmel Lasting Radiance Medium Coverage Anti-Pollution Foundation. This kind of existed maybe in a different format, different formula a little while back, but it's back at the drugstore, so I will review that. So I figured I would test it out today. But under my eyes, I'm going to use the Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer. I talked about this, like I said, in that other Essence video. And this is a little, I should have maybe got a little bit of a lighter shade because I've been using this to spot conceal, and I talked about this in not only the Essence video, but my acne coverage foundation routine. In December, I had a lot of breakouts, and ever since, I've been pretty much only using that Essence concealer to cover, kind of to do any spot concealing. And it's a really good concealer for spot concealing. It has good coverage, it sets nicely, it's matte but not too matte, and they recently, I think the concealer existed, but they recently extended the shades. But I really like it as a concealer under my eyes. It's just a little deeper than I would normally go for. So because of that, I am just going to add a smidge of this CoverGirl concealer. I like this one too. The drugstore has really stepped it up when it comes to concealers. It was really lacking not only in formula but in shade range, and I think it's come a long way. So the first kind of newer item that I'm going to be using under my eyes, although this was available when I did that last video, I just didn't see it. It is the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. So I'm going to use this to set my under eyes. I love a banana style powder under my eyes, but I definitely prefer it to be pressed. The only kind of qualm I see with this is it looks a little more beige than banana in my opinion. I'd love to see it a little bit more yellow or a couple more shades, but it seems nice under the eyes. A lot of the time when it comes to drugstore brands, the feedback I get when speaking to the actual brands is shelf space. There's just not enough shelf space. I think, you know, of course, if it was up to them, they would have a whole row to themselves and sell all their products, but generally they're not allotted that much space and choices have to be made, and unfortunately shade ranges end up lacking. I mean, we still have the online, you know, you can buy from Ulta and Shoppers Drug Mart online and stuff now, but definitely annoying, especially if you have deeper skin. So I'm hoping they start to make improvements there. Yeah, I like this. It seems nice. It doesn't look powdery on the eyes. Doesn't add a lot of coverage. Like, I like it to be a little bit more yellow. I find that to be a little bit more brightening, but I do think it's nice. I'm just gonna set the rest of my face, and then we shall go in with bronzer. So there's a couple new palettes. So you're wondering about this choker. I always get questions about this choker. It's from Forever 21 a while back. RIP Forever 21 Canada. But apparently they're coming back with a website just for Canada. And the shirt was sent to me from Shein. And I actually just ordered a bunch of their stuff to do a bathing suit haul and probably a clothing haul. And test out some more of their clothes. But okay, so here is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder and powder palette. So I think that this looks like really good because it seems to go quite deep. That being said, when it comes to a palette like this, if you're only going to use this as bronzer, somebody who uses this shade probably won't use this shade. You can use them as eyeshadows, you can use them in different capacities if you tan a lot, but to me, I would rather just see 4 separate bronzers be launched than a palette, because like this, for me, I could just use that as a bronzer, etc., etc. But I did want to test out the formula. So like palettes are very, very popular, but I don't find myself reaching for them that often. So like I said, I'm going to use this shade here. And there are other bronzers that have come out in the past. I don't think they ever looked like they were deep enough for me. I'm not sure, besides that contour palette that I mentioned. But I think this will work. This is the MAC 140S brush. It's one of my favorite bronzer brushes. Yeah, I think that looks really good actually. You can see a difference. It's like warmer. And if I have more color, I could probably use this shade. And the contour palette in that other thing that I keep mentioning is definitely a little bit more cool toned, but not like gray. And definitely good if you have my color skin or even a little bit deeper. Oh, also, I want to give a shout out to Pam and Brittany from the Shoppers Beauty Boutique at King and Spadina here in Toronto. They were a delight. We were like chatting about makeup forever. So I had a bunch of gift cards. I have all these gift cards. My boyfriend is like harassing me every day, like, have you used your gift cards? Have you used your gift cards? Because for some reason, like, I always want to spend gift cards on things that are like special as opposed to just like a regular purchase. And he's like, will you start using these gift cards? You're just like piling them up around the house, trying to use them for like a special occasion. The same thing with like certain like face masks or like eye patches and stuff. I'm like, I'm saving it for a special occasion. And like, I don't encounter many special occasions. So anyways, I use my gift card. I ended up spending like over $100. So for price range, pretty much everything was either like $3.99 or $4.99, like the smaller things. And then all of these palettes were $12.99 Canadian. So I really tried to avoid buying this palette specifically, but the other three palettes, I just felt like I wouldn't reach for. There's like an earth, wind, air, and fire, I think. There was one that was really kind of fun purpley tones, but they were very pastel and I felt like they wouldn't translate on my skin. There was a more blue one, but again, I was just kind of like, it wasn't appealing to me enough. And then the earthy one, again, wasn't appealing to me. So this is like, you know, very similar to a lot of the palettes that I already have. I love warm orangey tones, but that being said, there are more available at the drugstore now, but I guess I figured I would test this out in case you tend to like the types of palettes that I have, but you don't have any of them, or you wanted one specifically from Essence. I figured we would give this a go, and I like the selection of shades here. Right off the bat, I feel like this yellow could have been stronger, less of a pastel yellow, more mustardy would have been really pretty, because I feel like this is just going to end up looking very kind of chalky on the eyes. But let me bring you in for eyeshadow, and I'm just going to prime my eyes actually with that Essence concealer. So I'm going to start out with this shade here. It's kind of like a peachy brownie, and just using a fluffy brush. Oh, that actually shows up. I was afraid it might not show up. I feel like in the past, Essence's one of their least impressive offerings was their eyeshadows. First of all, the shades were always like so pastel, so light. And it wasn't necessarily that the formula was bad, but like the palettes they would come out with would be like all shimmer, or they came out with like matte singles, but still, again, none of them were warm toned, none of them had like any depth, so it just was never something that I reached for. But I feel like in the past year or so they've launched more eyeshadow palettes. I have not tried them. With another fluffy brush, I'm going to take this more orange shade. Let me know what your favorites are from Essence. They have so much good stuff. Their like pot gel eyeliner, that was one of the first things I used from them back when I used to do like gel eyeliner. That was incredible. Their mascaras obviously are amazing. Obsessed with their new lash primer. Oh, it's really good stuff. I feel like it can get overlooked because it almost has this juvenile look to it, and it's very affordable, which sometimes can lead us to be like, well, it can't be good. I was like instinctively about to go reach for a dark brown in this palette, and it does not exist. So maybe I'll just take some of this more red shade. And then I've got a shade, like a single shade that I want to put on my lid. That's like a formula I've been eyeing. But this seems nice. So this is what I want to put on my lid. It is one of their melted chrome eyeshadows. I saw these before I did my last video, but there was no goldy shade. There was like a red and a silver. So this is Golden Crown eyeshadow with liquid chrome effect. So let's try this. It feels almost like kind of moussey. Wow. Wow. It's so pretty. Kind of just like focusing it on the inner corner and then just lightly kind of putting it everywhere. I'm just gonna go back in with a little bit of the orange plus brown that I initially used first, just because I feel like I lost a little bit of it. Okay, but that's really pretty. I mean, it's only my first time playing with it, but they seem nice. So I think this looks quite pretty. I definitely could have maybe amped up the metal eyeshadow a little bit more if I had used like some spray on like a brush. I lost my train of thought. Or put down some extra primer, but I think that that looks pretty. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more diffused than like super, super intense. Now for mascara, Essence, if you're looking to dabble in mascara, my recommendation, the first place to start is mascara. Any of the Lash Princess mascaras are incredible. I love the lash primer, like I said, but I saw this and I hadn't tried it before. So this is the What the Fake Volumizing and Lengthening Mascara with volumizing fibers. I'm not a huge fiber mascara gal, but let's see. Interesting brush on this, more of a kind of traditional brush, kind of smaller than I feel like Essence normally does. Ooh. I think we have another winner. The only mascaras I didn't like from Essence were the ones that came in the big fat tubes. I think I might like my Lash Princesses more, or I might like it a little bit more with the primer. For something that has fibers in it, I feel like it does a good job not getting clumpy, not looking too spidery, and I really like it on my lower lash line as well. So yeah, I do like this. I think I do like some of my Lash Princesses, maybe a little bit more, but I'll definitely keep using this, and I'm just gonna let this dry and then I'm gonna pick it off with a Q-tip. But let me zoom you out and I will show you some blush and highlight. So for blush, I picked this up. It is one of the blushes. They also have another blush. It's like, I forget what they call those. There's one shade in there that I really, really liked. This one is like a little more kind of like pinky than I normally go for in a blush, but it kind of matches my shirt. So let's try it out. This looks matte. I love the packaging on their blushes. I think it looks really sleek. I love that it's not bulky. I love that you can see the color through. There's no stupid brush in there. It looks nice, but the shades looked quite light. That's actually a pretty shade, and if you know me, I own a lot of blushes, but they're all like kind of the same color. I'm not scared to admit that. I love me a peachy blush, so I'm glad that this was the only one available to make me step outside of my blush box. This is actually a really pretty shade. This one is in the shade Beloved. For highlighter, I picked up another one of their palettes. There's two of these. So these are the Pure Nude Sunlighter palettes. I love the kind of newer shade of the Pure Nude single highlighter in like the Sunlighter shade, because it's a little bit better for deeper skin. These to me don't look to be at all the same formula as the Sunlighter singles, because those singles are almost like baked. They are domed. I used it in my acne foundation routine, and I feel like it just gives a really beautiful highlighted look, but it doesn't highlight texture too much. And something like this reminds me a lot more of like an Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter. It looks just much more highlightery, much more intense and less forgiving on the skin. So there was two of these. There's another one that had more gold shades and kind of a purpley shade in there, and then this one was a little bit more deep with the two kind of warmer shades. And then these are like kind of interesting. I wish these had more gold in them. Like I feel like they look, I don't know, the other palette was like light and gold and very champagne-y. This again is kind of champagne-y, but like almost taupey, if that makes sense. And I feel like if you're gonna do like a lighter and a warmer palette, this could have been a little warmer in the highlight shade. But anywho, I am gonna use, let's use this one here. This looks pretty. It's not like, I was afraid sometimes with, you know, they have kind of pinky and reddy shades in them. It doesn't like translate that way in this on the skin. I would say definitely more glowy than the other highlight, the single. It looks like in like my viewfinder, I feel like it looks quite wet on the skin, which is a really, really beautiful look in my opinion. But when I get really up close, things don't look as good. But that's kind of the case with a lot of makeup. I have always loved their lip liners. There's one in the shade Satin Taupe, I think. That's kind of their classic shade. But they launched some more lip liners, and I picked two of them up. And these are said to be an 8-hour lip liner. They are waterproof with a little sharpener on the end, which I think is quite handy. So I'm gonna use the shade So Default. And these ones, instead of the other lip liners that are more of like a pencil liner, albeit very, very creamy, these are just like a straight up really creamy lip liner. I kind of want to go back and see if there's another one that's more browny, rosy, kind of. Those are my favorite lip liner shades. I grabbed these two and they're not as browny rosy as I was anticipating. And when I line my lips, if I want like definition on the outside and put a little like lighter color on the inside, I line the lips and then I line the inner corners. Especially if you have deeper skin, it's helpful to make lighter lipsticks work. And then for my actual lip color, these have been around, but this one was noted as a new shade and I hadn't actually tried this formula at all. So these are their Color Boost Matte About Matte Liquid Lipsticks. Now, my issue with these is that you really can't tell what the shade is on the inside. Like you can obviously get an idea, but I find generally these are not that close, or like who's to say. But I will say it actually looks quite close. But this is kind of an orangey shade. Huh. This is very pretty actually. And it's like only lightly pigmented. Seems buildable. Ooh, this is a nice color. Very, very thin as well, which I like. Yeah, I love this lip color. I'm happy with that choice. So yeah, overall, I feel like I had some good wins here in this haul. I would say the standouts for me are probably the lip liners, the lipstick. Like I love the palettes, the two face palettes that I tried. I think they're really, really nice. The only thing that I feel about them is that I won't be reaching for them as often as I would if it was like a good single. I like the mascara as well. The eyeshadow palette is good. I feel like Wet n Wild, CoverGirl, Rimmel, like ColourPop, they have stronger eyeshadows, but I do like this palette. It's just not as strong as them. The mascara looks nice as well, and I definitely see myself using the under eye powder too. Not necessarily because it's like the best ever and it's my most ideal, but I do love having under eye powders in a pan format. I still do like my Makeup Revolution Bacon Blot in Banana more. I am getting a little shiny. And what else did I try today? Yeah, the Melted Chrome eyeshadow I thought was nice too. And I think that's everything. I'm happy with how this look came out, but yeah, I think the lip for me is my favorite. I love the shade. It feels comfortable, it feels thin, and I like that it has kind of a buildable pigmentation. So let me know down below, as I mentioned, what your favorites are from Essence, and let me know what else I should try from them. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!